Hey girls. Well, boys. Sorry, boys. What's up? Thank you very much for your contribution. Hyundai thanks you. Genesis thanks you. Cheers. They look delicious. Hey guys, Nathan here with the Fast Lane Car. German automakers really are the benchmark for luxury performance vehicles. We all know this. Yes, of course, there's Japanese and all that, but we're talking about the Germans. Why? Because, among other things, they've really perfected front engine rear drive performance. But what if you have a different type of vehicle from a different type of car company that gives you rear drive performance with a seriously powerful twin turbocharged V6? And what if it comes from Korea, like this 2019 Genesis G70? The question here is, should the Germans be worried? Coming up in this video, we're going to take this baby for a ride. We're going to tell you all about its numbers, and just as importantly, we're going to talk about the fact that it may very well be serious competition for the Germans. Some very important numbers here. 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque. Comes from a twin turbocharged 3.3 liter V6, and it's hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission that feeds the rear wheels. There is an all-wheel drive option. Now, let's say you wanted something that was a little less expensive, not quite as powerful, but a hell of a lot of fun. You can get a 255 horsepower 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that can have a 6-speed manual transmission, and of course it's rear drive. You can also get that 4-cylinder with all-wheel drive. That's pretty cool. As it sits, you get a combined 21 miles per gallon. That's not too bad. If you do get the V6, you get these paddle shifters, and they work really well. They immediately kick in. It feels like you're driving something that has a proper dual clutch. But at the same time, if you leave everything alone, it shifts calmly, it doesn't stutter, and it's smooth. And this thing has crazy acceleration. It is fast. The cool thing is, it's a twin turbocharged engine, and they're not big turbochargers, they're kind of small, so they spool up really quick, which means not a lot of turbo lag. And because this is a rear drive car, not an all-wheel drive car, you can get some tail out action. I have to give it up to Genesis for coming up with a design that not only is unique and I think really attractive, but it doesn't look like their larger, more expensive vehicles. It's got its own unique character. Now keep in mind, this vehicle competes against the Audi A4, the BMW 3 Series, and of course the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. None of those vehicles have really taken any major steps recently in terms of exterior design. They kind of look like the way they have. They've been very careful about what they've been doing. This is unique, and because of that, it stands out. Now for those of you who have sharp eyes, you may notice that the grille looks a little unusual right here. And that's because, well, that's not a grille right here, this little section. That's actually where sensors go. But they made it look like the grille. I think that's actually kind of cool, but unusual at the same time. Now, there are lots of simple lines that go through here, but one of the more unique things is the way they have this character line running across the hood that comes outward. It's something that goes to the fender and really does bring out that shape. I like that quite a bit. It really does help those wheels look like they're absolutely out at the corners. This vent is not functional, but it doesn't look too bad. I like the chrome coloring. As for the rest of the vehicle, it really does lift up, and it goes to one of my favorite spots right back here. Now for those of you who are into BMWs, you'll find this area, well, rather similar to a BMW 3 Series, and I would agree, except the way it tapers back, this whole section here, very unique. I'm a big fan of the rear, and I love the way they have the exhaust setup. And that goes all the way down to these fabulous looking 19-inch wheels, which are on Michelin rubber. By the way, Brembo brakes, that's what comes with this package when you get the 3.3 liter T. remember, this is a sports sedan, so there is the sporty nature of the tires and the suspension setup, so it is not exactly what I would call a quiet car. Even on this road, which is mediocre, I can hear a great deal of tire noise, and there is some outside noise that I can hear as well, and I'm not going very fast. I have it in comfort mode, so everything is relaxed. But you see, as I said, this is a sports sedan, and you don't buy it for comfort. You want comfort? There are a lot of other vehicles you can buy. This is for fun. One of the negatives about having a shape like this is you're giving up utility for design. Let me explain. This is 10.5 cubic feet. That is by far the smallest in class. That is a very small trunk. If you compare it to the BMW, that has 16.9 cubic feet of space, the Audi A4 13 feet, and the Mercedes-Benz C-Class 12.6 cubic feet of space. So this is by far the smallest trunk in its class. Now, have a look down here. That is a donut. But if you look, usually when you have a spare tire, you have some extra space. There is very little extra space here. You could put a couple little things, maybe a first aid kit here, but just not a lot of space. So yeah, sometimes it's form over function. One great thing about having a vehicle like this that is similar to a German sports sedan is having really good legroom, and the legroom is quite good in here. I have stubby legs, but I am 6'1", so I'm still really comfortable. I have really good headroom, and everything is adjustable, obviously. But the real treat about this interior is the fact that I think it's the best in class. Not only do I think it's the best in class, I think that this setup, in terms of the fit and finish, in terms of this excellent material, I mean, look at this diamond pattern, and the metals, and the leathers. All of this stuff combined makes it one of the best interiors, period. I mean, going up to Bentley and all that, that's one thing, but in terms of a vehicle that a regular human being can afford, fantastic layout. But there is one minor issue, and that is the infotainment system, which is basically out of a Hyundai. It's very similar to their systems, and some of you guys might not like that because, well, this is such a special car, it's bespoke. All of a sudden you have something that reminds you it's from a brand that builds quality, affordable vehicles. I don't think it's a big deal personally, but I do know that some people would say, oh no, should have a completely unique screen and completely unique buttons and a unique layout. But that's really expensive to do, right? But for the rest of this vehicle, everything from the headliner, everywhere you touch, high quality, really impressive. The leather interior in this vehicle is exquisite, and we have them to thank for that. Hey girls, well boys, sorry boys, what's up? Thank you very much for your contribution. Hyundai thanks you. Genesis thanks you. Cheers. They look delicious. Here's a problem, but there is a bit of a solution. Back seat space. It is at a premium. There's not a lot of room. But let's say you either have somebody in the front seat, passenger side, who has very short legs, or they're not there, and you need to have a comfortable place for somebody to sit in the back. That's what these are for. Hold this down, seat tilts up, ooh, more space already, and you bring that forward. Now, some people call it the chauffeur mode. But what it does do, if the seat is all the way up and you have a passenger in the back, suddenly, oh my God, tons of space. Look at that. Headroom's not great though. My head's hitting the top as I lean my head back. Once again, that's form versus function. The roof is beautiful from the outside, but inside, you pay for it by losing a little bit of headroom in the back. You know, one of the reasons why I jumped and begged to Roman saying, please let me review this car is because, well, I reviewed it before. I actually went all the way out to Maine and drove the car on the track. I had a blast. And it taught me something very valuable about the vehicle, which is it's a driver's car, and that's what makes it so compelling. It's not just a luxury vehicle, it is truly a luxury sports sedan. One final thought is that the G70, in my book, really does bridge a lot of gaps because it starts all the way down with competing with vehicles like the Acura TLX and the Infiniti Q50. Then it goes all the way up to the Germans and, of course, Lexus with the IS. But this is an affordable vehicle, at least that's where it starts, which is at $44,795. That gets you into the 3.3 liter turbo with rear drive. Then if you add the packages, you can bring the vehicle up to what it is here as it sits, the sport model, which comes in at $50,495. When you compare it to the German cars, it is a bargain. Much, much less expensive for getting all of this equipment. So, when you bring that all together, you have an inexpensive vehicle by comparison. One that handles as good, if not better, than the competition, and one that has one of the nicest interiors I've seen. Well done, Genesis. Yes, you need a bigger trunk, a little bit more room in the backseat would be nice, and perhaps having something other than that 8-inch infotainment screen would be nice as well. But those are minor compared to how awesome this vehicle is. I truly enjoyed driving it. Hey, thanks for joining me for the Fastlane Car. This is Nathan. Don't forget to go to TFLcar.com for news, views, real-world reviews, and more driving of awesome vehicles. I'll see you next time.